Active, move to secure. Enemy on the HQ, get over there. We're taking the HQ. Reloading, UAV on the battlefield, ready for flyover. Stay out as long as you can. Jack Wood, go away. Crushing it! Stay with it! Nice shot, kill. Allied cruise missile away.
So, to address the elephant in the room, I am very much aware that I am incredibly late to the party. I'm so late to the party that people are probably already starting to think about talking about Call of Duty 2021. But, c'est la vie. But nevertheless, what I wanted to talk about today was the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta. If I had to sum this game up in 2 words based on my beta experience, it would be, I'm tempted. This game really was quite fun to play, and it did take me by surprise, and I do feel it definitely deserves a lot of the praise the game has so far been receiving. So the main things I really like about this game have to be the gunplay. It's simply put a very good system. It still keeps the easy to play Call of Duty feel, but the addition of more recoil and also the more weighty animations really do make the game feel very satisfying. Getting 1 kill feels like much more of an achievement than I think it ever has in any Call of Duty game so far, which then makes going on killstreaks feel even more rewarding. It means that a one-on-one fight feels satisfying, but an overall streak feels absolutely awesome. You feel almost unstoppable, and that is a really cool aspect to this game. However, a change that definitely caught me by surprise in a very good way was the slight change to the kill streak system. Now, on a basic level, a lot of people noticed that obviously it's gone from score streaks back to kill streaks. This was an interesting change. I wasn't so sure about it. I felt it could have led to a lot of kill whoring. However, they made one small subtle change which I think has made a huge impact on the way people can play this game. And that is that people cannot cycle kill streaks in the same life. We've gone back to the days of Modern Warfare 2 where once you've got your 3 kill streaks, that's it. You have to die to start it all over again. And I think that is a very good thing. It means that, yes, a player can go on one awesome streak and then they can bring down some air support and decimate the map for about 30 seconds. But if they want to keep going on that streak, they're going to have to rely on their own skill as a player rather than the support of these AI kill streaks, and I think that is a great change. If a player is that good to go on a streak, then they can dominate just using their gun skill. They don't need these AI kill streaks, so having them keep cycling and looping and keeping going on and on and on and just decimating people further took away a lot of the skill gap in this game, and it meant that a good player hit the skill ceiling very quickly once they got those first set of streaks, because they could just keep looping them. They could keep oppressing the enemy team, and it just led to a very unsatisfying experience when you were on the receiving end of this. Whereas in this game, it feels like kill streaks, whilst powerful, aren't going to kick you into the ground for the entire game. And what's more, it does feel like the kill streaks don't last as long, which I think also is a good thing. The kill streaks are very powerful for the time they're in the map, but they don't stick around for long, so you have to make the best use of them. I personally like these changes. For me, the kill streaks feel a lot more like a tool. You actually use them to change the way the enemy team plays the map so you can secure objectives. I really like these changes, and I think they have made the game play a lot better in my opinion. Then also there is the change to the radar in the game. Now this has been a hot topic in the Call of Duty community, mostly because the majority of the player base has gotten so used to having a radar that they feel they almost cannot live without it. They don't want to see it go away, and I can kind of understand the reasons why. For people that want to know where their teammates are, or perhaps want to be able to learn the maps a little easier, a radar can be very useful. However, as an experienced Call of Duty player who has left the series playing other games that maybe don't have radars or much HUD at all, I personally prefer the game without a radar. I found that by the second or third day I was playing, I was starting to stare at it. There were no dots on it, but I was starting to stare at it in case there was a dot there. I think the ultimate middle ground in this situation is that Infinity Ward should give the player a choice as to what they want their minimap to look like. If a player doesn't want the minimap on when there's not a UAV open, they should be able to do that. If a player wants the minimap on all the time, then they should be able to do that. Or if a player is completely and utterly off their nut and they want to have no minimap regardless of what's in the air, then they can feel free to do that as well. I think that would be an ultimate middle ground, because in the grand scheme of things, there is no difference in gameplay between having a minimap which has no UAV active, and having no minimap at all. There is literally no difference. The only thing is you can see what the layout of the map is and where your teammates are. I think that means that it should be a personal preference as to what you have on your heads-up display. For me, that would make a big difference. It means that I wouldn't then keep trying to look at this minimap. I'd be able to focus on what's going on around me, because ultimately the ambience, the sound design, the visuals of this game are fantastic. I want to be paying attention to those, not this tiny little circle in the top of my screen that might show me every now and then where an enemy is. But speaking of the ambience and the visuals, as I said, they are fantastic. They really build atmosphere in this game. And I found that there were a lot of little cool moments. Like for me personally, I was playing Headquarters pretty much exclusively throughout this beta. 20v20, I found that game mode was fantastic. The little bits of music when you were securing the headquarters really added to the ambience. They created a little bit of tension and it really added to the experience. Like this moment in the background was absolutely fantastic. Mostly because it started off, you had a little squad of us as a team. We were just moving across towards the next headquarters, which in itself felt awesome. It felt like one of those campaign moments where it's scripted or something from a movie. It was absolutely awesome. And then when we got onto the headquarters and captured it, you've then got this tension building with the music, and the enemies are assaulting us and they're relentless. They just keep coming back and back, and we're just trying to hold them off, and it just felt amazing. I'm going to let the rest of it play out so you can actually hopefully get an idea of how I was feeling as I was playing this section.
HQ contested. Perimeter breach. HQ contested. We've got a UAV on station, ready for flyover. This is Jaguar 3-0. Keep fighting.
It's an experience I haven't had in Call of Duty in probably ever, if not for a very long time, and for me it has captured something I've wanted in games for quite a while. It's got that casual, easy to access feel, but it also has the really dramatic and epic moments, which is where this game is really nailing it in my opinion. Now there are a couple of issues I have encountered with this game. The first one is that visibility can be a bit hit and miss. Yes, some people will hide and they will camouflage themselves. You're seeing in the clip in the background, I ran around this corner, the player is visible. If I freeze the frame on screen, you can see this player is very clearly visible. But as you're moving around, there's a little bit of motion blur, and it means that they do camouflage very easily. I don't think necessarily that camouflaging should be removed from the game entirely. It is in some ways a valid tactic. If you know the spots on the map where your soldier could blend in, it does allow players with that greater game knowledge to exploit it and actually have an advantage over others. But visibility as a whole does need to perhaps be looked at, because it is occasionally very difficult to see players, and it will lead to sometimes some unnecessary frustration. Another one I would have to say is my subjective experience of the netcode. Now I'm going to preface this by saying I am not a network designer. I know almost nothing about networking. I just know what I have learned from other people's YouTube videos, mostly from Battle Nonsense. But I would say that there is a slight issue with Pika's advantage in this game. It's not very frequent. Most games run perfectly fine and I have no problems with it. But as you're seeing in this particular clip in the background, it shows that Pika's advantage, perhaps with a bit of latency. Unfortunately, yet again, no ping numbers on the scoreboard made it very difficult for me to assess what was causing this. Was it my ping? Was it their ping? Maybe the server had a brain fart? I'm not sure exactly what happened. But as you can see, I shoot this person once. I'm also quite damaged. I peek around the corner. Now, if you look at the way the angles work out, I have a much shallower angle. I should, by all right and all logic, see the enemy before they see me. They should have to expose half of their body before they can really see me properly. Unfortunately, a little bit of Pika's advantage, and in fairness, a well-timed pre-fire meant that they were able to take me out without me seeing them. But I should have been able to see them. Unfortunately, there's a bit of Pika's advantage going on there from what I can tell, and I had this a few moments. I found that generally speaking it was okay, but every now and then I'd get a moment like this, and it was frustrating because I felt I had almost no way of reacting, especially if I didn't even know the enemy was there. And finally, I did also come across this very irritating glitch. It seems to be somewhat related to killstreaks and how you call them in, but I was left unable to aim. I could still move around, but I could not turn my soldier at all until I'd called in all my kill streaks. It was quite an annoying moment. It led me to die a couple of times, and it was just really confusing. I'm just wandering around not able to aim. It really threw me off, and it kind of ruined this match for me. I did also then find that once being able to aim has then been fixed, I then had an icon stuck on my screen for like the rest of the match, so I don't know what was going on. The game just freaked out for this match. But this was probably the only real bug and glitch I actually came across. It was very invasive, so this one does need to be fixed, but overall the game did play very well. And then on a final note, I would like to quickly talk about one of the other really good things about this game, and that is the customization. In the loadout section, you can do so much when you want to customize your weapons. You could take an AK-47 assault rifle, turn it into the RPK light machine gun, or turn it into the AK-74 SMG. You could take an AUG SMG and turn it into the AUG assault rifle. And you can do this with a lot of the weapons in this game. And that is a really cool feature. This is the kind of customization I don't think we've ever seen in any other first-person shooter to date. And it is fantastic. I think there's one slight improvement they can make to it, which is that with these weapons that you can radically change them and almost change the format of the weapon, perhaps make it so that in the game progression you can see what you have to do and what attachments you need to convert it to that type of weapon. For instance, I really liked using the Kalashnikov SMG, but I only ever had the assault rifle, and I wasn't sure exactly which attachments I needed to be able to convert it to the SMG like it was in the default classes. I think it'll be useful once you've unlocked the basic variant. So for instance, unlock the basic AK-47. In the SMG section, you can then highlight this 74U version, which is the SMG, and it will tell you what attachments you need to convert the AK-47 into the 74U. I think that would be a really helpful little feature. It would help players target their progression. If they want to get a certain version of this weapon, they know exactly what they have to do, and it would just make it a little bit more clear. So my overall thoughts on the game based on this beta. It was really fun, and as I've said, I'm tempted. There's a lot of good things going for this game. Good gunplay, good mechanics, a lot of customization, and a general great ambience in the game. I'm looking forward to the story. Also, they dropped a story trailer very recently, and it did look pretty good. The only problem with the story trailer was that they managed to release it on the same day The Last of Us 2 released their story trailer, and it was a fantastic trailer, so they kind of got overshadowed in my personal opinion. But it does look like a very promising game. There are some certain talking points in the community about the microtransaction system, which are always cause for concern with this series, but for the game itself, it is very good, it's very fun, and I'm going to be tempted to get it. I'm not sure, it's really going to be time dependent because I've already got games that I'm playing pretty regularly. But I do hope this video has been entertaining and perhaps informative. If you've got any questions or you just want to leave your thoughts, please feel free to do that in the comment section down below. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed this video, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of them. I've been the guy with the gamer tag, and I'll see you on another video.